Hi everyone, Jennifer here, back with another edition of Movie Talk. And this week's movie happens to be a childhood favorite of mine. And by childhood favorite of mine, I mean it is a movie that my sister and I watched at least once every single day. So, you know, when we were kids, we probably could act out the whole movie word for word and line for line. And that movie is Annie. Annie is the story of a plucky, red-haired girl who dreams of life outside her dreary orphanage. One day, Annie is chosen to stay for a week with the famous billionaire Daddy Warbucks. 1 week turns into many, and the only person standing in the way of Annie's fun is Miss Hannigan, the tyrannical ruler of the orphanage. Will Miss Hannigan's zany attempts to kidnap the irrepressible Annie succeed? Okay, highlights of the movie. So this movie was made back in 1982, so it's about 40 years old, and is a musical comedy drama that is based on both the Broadway musical Annie and the comic strip Little Orphan Annie. It inspired one sequel, Annie, A Royal Adventure, which was made back in the 90s, and two remakes, one made in 1999 and one made more recently in 2014. Okay, things I liked about this movie. I loved everything about this movie. As I stated at the beginning of this video, this is a childhood favorite movie of both mine and my sister's. We would watch it every single day because it was on the same video as The Wizard of Oz. So a lot of times we would watch like every single day we would watch The Wizard of Oz and then Annie. And then my mom would rewind the tape and we had to like walk away from the TV for an hour or two. And then we would watch The Wizard of Oz and Annie again. So we watched this movie at least once every single day. And every time I watch this movie, it kind of takes me back to that time period with my sister when we're just sitting there watching our two favorite movies and just having a lot of fun. Secondly, I loved the music. This is based on a musical, so there's a lot of singing and dancing in this movie. One of my favorite songs is probably the most iconic songs from this movie, and that is the song Tomorrow, which is a song Annie sings periodically throughout the movie. And it is a very pretty song. And, you know, I mean, there are other songs in this movie that I like, but Tomorrow really stands out, probably because it's performed more than the others, different versions of it. Well, not just different versions, but different verses of it. I think we get in all the way through song at one point in the movie, but it's just so adorable and so cute and so upbeat. And the fact that this, I mean, in the story and the plot line, another thing I love about this movie, one of the big issues, big things I love about this movie is that this girl, despite what she's been through, is so upbeat. She has grown up for a decade, because she's supposed to be 10 years old, at the very most a decade, like maybe 9 to 10 years, in an orphanage. Miss Hannigan is not the nicest person in the world. The kids wear rags. They work all day. I don't think they really have much of an education. And yet, Annie is still perky and spunky and optimistic and believes that the next day is going to be so much better. That's what the song Tomorrow is all about. It's like, today may be horrible, but tomorrow's another day with the potential of being much better than what today is. And she never really loses that. And it's so adorable. there's also historical references throughout this. Well, not references, but there is historical symbolism throughout this movie. This movie takes place during the 1930s. And for those of you who are not yet there in history class, or, slept through this part of history class, that's when America suffered through what was known as the Great Depression. The stock market crashed in 1929, I believe. I don't know the exact date. And, America, a lot of Americans didn't have money. There were a lot of people that were homeless, and a lot of people struggling to make ends meet. And this movie takes place during that time period. But it was also a time period when our president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, or, FDR, as he was also referred to, started a lot of charitable things that are still around today. So, there was a lot going on. Yes, we have Franklin Delano Roosevelt and his wife Eleanor Roosevelt are in this movie. Teddy Roosevelt is mentioned, although I am going to point out historical irregularity that is mentioned in this movie. In this movie, Franklin calls Teddy Roosevelt, as Theodore Roosevelt was also referred to, as his uncle. They were not uncle and nephew. They were actually, I believe, third or fifth cousins. So they were related, but they weren't uncle, nephew, they were cousins. And that is just a little historical oversight I wanted to mention. They also mentioned some things that are going on in Europe. If I mispronounce this, I apologize, but I'm going to try and say it correctly. The Bolsheviks are mentioned in this episode, or in this movie. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with them, prior to the 1920s, I would say right around near the end of World War II, Russia was ruled over by a family called the Romanovs. Most famous Romanov is, of course, Anastasia. And the Bolsheviks are the people who took over Russia after the Romanovs were executed. And actually, funny story, we were watching, Annie was on, this movie was on TV, I believe, at least 5 or 6 years ago. And my sister and my dad, now we're either having lunch or having dinner, I can't remember which one. And the scene where the Bolsheviks are mentioned comes on, and my sister, says, who were the Bolsheviks? And before my dad can answer, I'm like, they're the people who took over Russia after the Romanovs were killed. And my dad, how did you remember that? I'm like, because I just finished reading a book on Anastasia. But, same time period. So, yeah, of course they're going to put some historical stuff in there. It's not stuff that's needed, but it makes the movie kind of relatable. Oh, okay, I get it. I get where this is supposed to be taking place. And it's really good. And the way they did it was just amazing, especially considering the time period that this took place in. It was still during the Cold War when the USSR was still in control of Russia. Russia, and a good chunk of that area was the Soviet Union. So, it was kind of relatable at that point. Okay, cast. This movie had a phenomenal cast of actors. And I gotta believe a lot of little girls were vying for the role of Annie. But this very good cast of actors, some of them very well known at the time. And I looked, I could not find the name of the dog who played Sandy, so unfortunately he is not listed among the cast. But just be aware there was a dog named Sandy in this episode. He was like a little, I call him a Benji dog because he looked like he was some kind of mixed breed that looked a lot like Benji, but he was a lot bigger than Benji. a quick reminder on my comment rules. Okay, feel free to check out my other movie talk videos. My movie talk special edition videos. and my other videos. Okay, feel free to leave your comments and questions in the comment section. I do love to read those. Please, also feel free to follow me on Wattpad, Tumblr, Instagram, and Twitter. I do have my name for those 4 sites right there on the screen, as well as the pictures I use for the icons. Please note that all pictures seen within this video do belong to their respected artists. I own absolutely nothing. And the link for the 4 sites I mentioned are in the comment section, if that makes it any easier for you guys to locate me on those particular pages, or those particular sites. YouTube subscribers, please keep in mind that in any videos that are not on my YouTube channel are on my Facebook page. The link will be in the description section. Facebook friends, basically the same thing. Any videos that cannot be found on my Facebook page are on my YouTube channel. The link will be in the description section. And to anyone who's interested, you can feel free to check out my Facebook group, Fanfic Corner. The link for that will be in the description section as well. Please like and share if you're watching on Facebook, or like and subscribe if you haven't already if you're watching on YouTube. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to click on the video link on your screen to view my last movie talk video. Okay, as always, thank you for watching, and have a very nice day.